why hello. Or I don't know.
Oh,
Have you eaten rice?
konnichiwa.
Have you eaten rice?
Konnichiwa,
Ko-
Gaijin.
Konnichiwa, Gaijin.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Okay, fam.
It does, yeah.
Hey, everyone.
But I just laugh.
Oh boy.
That's the. I can't believe Kindred of the East starts with Konnichiwa, Gaijin. It's
What?
yeah,
Yeah,
There's like
yeah.
we were reading through it. And
That's
there's like
why I'm
this
saying
quote,
it now.
and it's like describing this like Neo Tokyo, and then this like white vampire gets attacked, and then it's just like Konnichiwa, Gaijin.
Konnichiwa, Gaijin.
Konnichiwa, Gaijin. Oh, it's so bad.
It's to say, welcome to my land.
Welcome to my land. Yeah. No, it's bad. Sorry if you thought any L5R was bad, Kindred of the East is bad. So bad that many of the writers who've worked on it have gone to publicly say that that whole project was a bad idea.
Oh wow.
It's bad. It's bad. But yeah, we're back, and Steve, you look great. I feel like you should have the red light on the whole time. But
it's really
but it washes you
to, like,
but it washes you out.
Just put it on during moments when like you speak, I guess.
Dramatic, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Oh yeah, what should we get Steve to do all of the flavor text reading if there is any?
Isn't there red text? Isn't there red text? Have him read
Anytime there's red text, Steve has to turn on the red light and then read.
Yes.
The production value this episode is really, really high.
I know, right? It's just like hold it up. But we're back, everyone. The whole crew is here, and we are reading. We are reading the Scorpion Clan. We're doing this. Steve, were you gonna say something?
I'm excited, but also a little nervous because even as soon as we like picked up the media, we saw Scorpion Clan, we knew that there was a high risk of just seeing microaggression after microaggression after stereotype after stereotype. And yet I was still like, this is the one I'm going to cosplay because they're just like, I'm so drawn to the types of stories that we can tell here. But my hopes are not very high.
I think you really just wanted to wear the mask.
And also in our other Oriental Adventure stream where we reviewed the Rokugan 3.5, I did talk about masks and how I thought their masks were not great.
Yes, not great.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, how's your eyebrows doing?
Okay, so
whoa.
I base this mask.
I have to ask.
I base this mask off of one of the pieces of art that we're gonna see, and the mask literally cuts off the eyebrows. And because of the way the mask is, it's either one made of steel and like it's metal and it's all engraved, which is really, really complex, really expensive, and really heavy. I imagine it wouldn't be that because it would just keep falling off your face. Or it's like just kind of made that way with like layering of leather and whatnot, in which case it has to be glued to your face. You can't just like tie that to the back. But it covers the eyebrows, which means when you take the mask off, the glue's going to rip off your eyebrows. So that'll be me post-stream.
Good thing that the Scorpions never take off their masks. I don't know if that's
quite,
true.
That's quite like traditional Japanese, no eyebrows, just rip them off.
Don't need them.
So I just shared a link in our Zoom chat for everyone to see. Speaking of covered eyebrows, I will also share this with the audience. So this is the Bayushi Deceiver from the 3.5 D&D Oriental Adventures Handbook. So that's the
scorpion tails coming out of her headband?
Of her headband. Yeah. So this is a Scorpion Clan member from 3.5 D&D Oriental Adventures. So this is where it is in D&D in 2001. There are a couple things that are weird here, like the entire hilt of her blade doesn't seem to end. Like it kind of ends at the tsuba, and there's nothing else there. It plays on the entire dragon lady sort of vibe. But yeah, this is let's set the scene. Let's talk about the Scorpion Clan. Let's talk about masks. And I now realize I'm wrong because this mask actually has her eyebrows free. If you look closely, you can see her eyebrows.
Oh yeah.
So in 3.5 D&D, they thought about their eyebrows. Interesting.
You need those for seducing.
You actually do though. Like I'm lucky because you can kind of see a quarter of my eyebrow, which the art had, so you can see some expression. But if I was gonna be like I can't wiggle my eyebrows, and that's an important piece.
It's like
of court.
It's like the show's not really. It's not really the right time to watch the show or even produce it. But there's an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine when Charles Boyle is trying to teach Captain Holt how to use his eyebrows to get what he wants, and he goes pump, 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 pump.
Yeah.
I immediately thought of that. But here we are, Scorpion Clan. Let's go back to 5th edition L5R. I know that Sarah is going to be sending us images later.
Yeah.
All over the place.
All over the place. Honestly, ever since you started doing that, Sarah, I've really enjoyed that because it's provided us with a little bit more context as to who these characters are. I know that the book does a poor job of actually introducing new players to the world, but it's been really fun learning about these characters from you as we read through it. So I'll start with the Scorpion Clan. Let's do that. Unless Steve, you want to read. I don't want to
I feel
take.
like I'm obligated. I feel like I'm obligated to. Should I?
Don't want to take this from you. This is your moment.
Should I do it while tittering behind my fan?
Yes,
Obviously.
Set the scene.
obviously.
That'll be for later. I need another glass of wine. But let's talk about the Scorpion Clan. So, with 6 terrible words that Kami Bayushi set his followers in the newly founded Scorpion Clan on a dark and dangerous path. Enemies loomed beyond Rokugan's borders, but they also lurked within them. Bayushi swore to protect the Empire by any means necessary. Where the code of Bushido tied the Emperor's left and right hands, the courtiers of the Crane and the mighty legions of the Lion, the Emperor's underhand could still reach. Even that's like very charged with energy. Anyways, to combat the liars, the thieves, and the traitors within the great clans, Bayushi's followers would have to lie, steal, and cheat in turn. The weapons of the Scorpion became blackmail, poison, and sabotage. The Scorpion dirtied their hands so that others could remain pure. Yet, in spite of, and perhaps because of, the clan's fearsome reputation, there is none more loyal than the Scorpion. In a clan of deceivers and manipulators, I'll just keep going. Manipulators trusts a hard-earned treasure to be cherished and guarded. Betrayal is punished with swift retribution. The souls of the treacherous forever bound into the horrific limbo of the place known as Traitor's Grove. Such fierce loyalty is a small consolation, at least, given the dangerous but vital role the Scorpion have played in the Empire from the moment their kami spoke his fateful words, "I will be your villain, Hante." Bayushi's successors are known for their insidious skill at scheming, but also the potential benefits of partnering with them, for without offering the proper incentives to their allies some of the time, they could never maintain their position as the great schemers of the Empire. People expect members of the Scorpion to be equal parts alluring and treacherous and loyal only to the Emperor. That's a trip.
Sorry,
we went through a big trip there.
I don't know. I don't know why, but for me, when you were reading, all I wanted to do was laugh. It's just
yeah.
There's a lot here. So what are these 6 terrible words? Sorry, you're muted.
I will be your villain.
I will be your villain, Hante? Is that
I will
it?
be your villain, Hante. That's the 6 words.
Oh, that's so dumb.
That is the 6 words. So
I was like, oh, it can't be that, but it is. Okay.
It is. It's that.
And then everyone was just like, okay, let's do this.
Okay, we're all bad.
So there's one thing you already mentioned here that really needs to be talked about. That's Traitor's Grove.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nice place.
It's not. So Traitor's Grove is if you are ever caught betraying the Scorpion Clan in any way, like betraying a secret, betraying locations, betraying troops, if you are shown to be disloyal to the Scorpion Clan whatsoever, you are executed and your soul is bound to a tree in Traitor's Grove where you will spend there for all eternity. And all your stuff is put under whatever trees you're nailed to. And anyone who steals from Traitor's Grove will be hunted down.
It's kind of a cool visual, though.
Yeah, it's one of the things that, because it just I know what he did. I don't know. It kind of Traitor's Grove always kind of rubs me the wrong way. Just I get the idea that loyalty is so important to the Scorpion that any breach of that loyalty is immediately it's cause for a fate worse than death, basically.
Yeah, is this for all Scorpion? But aren't there like hundreds of thousands of Scorpions?
Any Scorpion that if you are caught And if you are caught, no matter who you are, you could be the clan champion or you could be, whatever farmer. If you are caught betraying secrets of the Scorpion clan, you are sent to Traitor's Grove.
I feel
What
like
is Traders? Well, like, physically, what is
I think it's a
Traders Grove
forest.
again?
It's a forest
It's a
with
forest.
trees, and
Is
they
it
nail you
like
to
the
the trees.
L5R, like Rikers Island, like the Gulag or something like that? Like,
It's essentially that living tree in Mortal Kombat 2, that living forest in Mortal Kombat 2. It's basically that.
We have decided that you are not orcs. It's not. It's not like.
And it's not the same. That's not the
Not
same.
the same.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of like haunted forest stories in Japanese
Mhm.
cultures. Like I understand that. I think it's a cool visual. It seems exceptionally cruel compared to what other clans have done to their own traders. In general, we've seen like there's a lot of cruelty within Rokugan, which I think, for me personally, bleeds into other tropes and stereotypes of Asians. So, not great. Not a great place to start.
I dislike the idea of there being a forest where people's souls go to die just because of the connotations that has with real world problems in Japan.
It does, and the
Yeah,
reason,
suicide
one reason it.
forest.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
one reason it rubs me the wrong way. Aokigahara.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't think about that until just now.
I mean, I see that, and I think the actual suicide forest in Japan, and I think like
Yeah.
the fact that stupid Westerners have glorified that and visited it, like
Right?
just bothers me.
I think
I just feel like it's a little. It's very macabre.
do you get like that drow vibe from this? Like a D&D drow vibe?
I get second edition Drow.
Yeah, they're like,
Vibe,
oh,
very
they're all evil. They're all indoctrinated to be this dark clan. How do you enforce that? Right? Because in the lore, like, how many Scorpion clan members are there?
There's lots. It's a clan just like any other clan. There's hundreds of thousands of people. I feel like it just the thing is the Scorpion clan. Yeah, they kind of. Here's the one thing I gotta submit to Scorpion clan. They will do if they feel that it is righteous. If they feel if everyone from the top all the way down feels that it's actually righteous, they will go to any lengths to carry it out. Like in this edition of L5R, the Emperor wrote a decree saying that Bayushi Shoju is going to be the regent. Now things happen that made that edict fall into question. However, Shoju, even knowing that that him taking the imperial throne is going to lead to a lot of bad things for his clan, he still did it because that is what the Emperor wanted him to do. That is the ultimate. That's the ultimate Scorpion trait. I will do whatever my boss tells me to do, and I will carry it out to the best of my abilities. Whatever that thing should be.
Do you see like Scorpion players manipulating this strict doctrine in games, like in RPGs, to be like, oh, I'll tell people that you're a traitor. Do you see that? Especially with like such a lore heavy game like this.
It's any actions that any Scorpion player does in this game is going to if your party members are not Scorpion, or if you're acting or if you're interacting with an NPC that is not a Scorpion, the Scorpion character will not be believed. All their words will be second guessed.
Yeah,
Everything, all their actions will be scrutinized.
Because nobody can trust them because of
nobody can
their clan.
This has happened to me in games, and honestly, it's kind of annoying because like the Scorpion dude's on the side being like, "Tee, I know shit that you don't know. Like I'm secretly a bad guy. I'll be your villain, Hante." And like everyone's like, "Don't trust the Scorpion." But then it's like we're trying to do something together, and it's like, "Don't trust the Scorpion. Don't trust the Scorpion." But you got to work with this person, so it creates tension in an actual game. Where
here's the thing. This this is how Scorpion, again, this is Czar's version of L5R and how Czar would play Scorpion player. First, I wouldn't play Bayushi because Bayushi is just way too common. I play somebody with the Shishuro. Shishuros are infiltrators. They're actors and actresses. They're thespian spies, essentially, is what they are. And they're thinking, yes, I'm loyal to Scorpion. I'm carrying out a mission, but at the same time, I'm also going to be loyal to my party's mission because you know what? They're my party. I got to be loyal to them. And if I'm not loyal to them, and my duty from my lord is to go out with these people and do whatever these people are supposed to do. So that's my loyalty right now.
I mean, people in the chat are saying Scorpion equals Slytherin, and like, okay, maybe.
No,
I've just never.
No.
I have not played in groups where people role playing Scorpions have really
Scorpion,
convinced me that they're more than just like the person in the corner that nobody trusts. And
well, that's the
yeah.
problem when you base an entire like social group on a single concept, and that's like scheming. So like, because they basically just said, oh yes, the Scorpion clan, they don't care about honor, but they're really loyal, which I still think is stupid, because we talked about that at the very beginning. But then they're also like, oh yes, all the Scorpion, you can't trust them. They have this reputation for being treacherous, and you just say that about every single Scorpion. So that means that every single player who wants to be Scorpion clan, because there might be something interesting here, has to deal with, being seen as distrustful. It's the drow problem again. It's like, oh, I want to play a drow, but I want to be good. Steve, you're muted.
So a couple of folks in chat are saying the stream right now has a low quality kind of stuttering thing here.
Yeah,
maybe
I saw that, and I'm not sure what's going on.
It's your outfit, Steve.
Yeah,
it's too treacherous.
Too much. Oh my god.
There's too much
The
treachery.
stream's not trusting you because you're a Scorpion. So
I will be your villain, stream.
Oh god. I fixed my internet should be better, so I'm not sure what's going on. Chat, can you let me know if the quality has changed or anything like that, please?
it's back and forth for me.
It's back and forth. I'm switching something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I think it's still stuttery, eh? Audio's fine. Video is crap. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's just the video feed. Okay. Yeah, but the whole point of this is for everyone to see Steve's beautiful outfit.
Yeah.
Well, people are still seeing it at like 4 frames per second. So
I mean that means they just get more of a chance to just take a screenshot or just
exactly
observe.
Maybe now's the time where I just talk about. To be quite honest, this after I put this cosplay on.
Yeah, do you want to talk about this while I go downstairs and try to fix this?
Yeah, let's talk about how you tell everybody how you made it in the process.
So the making of it was actually quite straightforward. This is all just like I bought Amazon stuff. So like there's a price tag on this. I just got it. The only thing that was really like labor intensive was the mask, which is made out of 4-ounce cow leather that I wet formed to my face. So it's custom to my face, so no one else could really wear it comfortably. I also used a lot of tooling I had to like put some indentation so the paint would better stick, and then the rest is all paint to give it the illusion of the layering that we're going to see in the art later on. And then it's glued to my face with spirit gum, which for me is pretty comfortable, but a lot of people hate spirit gum because it's stage cement on your skin, and it can be very, very uncomfortable. And then I'm wearing red contacts, which I had from another cosplay that I reused. These contacts are from my Black Watch Genji cosplay. So nothing too complex really. Oh, and the fan is painted. I just had to practice painting the Scorpion logo a couple times and then just went for it. So that was all good. But the thing I really want to talk about is that I put this costume on. I'm wearing really cheap knockoff kimonos, and I am super uncomfortable actually in this outfit right now because I'm not Japanese. I'm wearing their culture as a costume right now. And I am supremely aware that taken out of context, what I'm doing right now is harmful. Even in context, there's a little bit of harm that's going on. And I think it's really important to just kind of, for me to live in that uncomfortable state and to me to process it. And this is probably a problem that a lot of people have with these costumes. And I don't have a resolution for this. There's no like way I can say, here's how you do this, but respectfully. The context is always going to matter. And I know if I was invited to a LARP, I would really, really think about the clothes I wear and why I'm wearing them.
You know something, Steve? Sometimes you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Sorry.
I will be your villain, Jeremy.
I just had to.
You're going to be everyone's villain tonight, aren't you? Before the end of the night, you're going to be everyone's villain.
I was talking all about this. Like I lose all my honor tonight. Zero honor. But yeah, it's. I think there's a conversation to have, and I don't necessarily want to have the conversation tonight, but I would love to have it with other folk who maybe are in the cosplay community or at Cosplay for L5R, because I feel like this is a source of tension, and absolutely we should talk about it, because not talking about it just perpetuates any harm that it's currently doing.
We should do a podcast with Izza.
So the interesting thing is, and I was reading an essay a few days ago, specifically about like that type of kimono that you are wearing right now, Steve. So me actually, like, I never thought of that as a kimono before. I see that as like a nightgown type thing, but I asked my girlfriend, she was like, that's definitely a kimono. Like the cut is that of a kimono. But to me, like a kimono is specifically like what I saw people wearing when I was living in Japan. Like that is a kimono, or like a comfortable at-home kimono would be like a yukata, like something like that. Like I actually do not think of that sort of like silky nightgown sort of dress to be a kimono. But I was just wondering, like, I don't know if you know more about this, Emma. Like, is that a Western thing? Like, because I don't know if people in Japan would wear something like this to sleep in.
Yeah, I'm not a fashion historian.
It's more of a fashion.
I don't know for sure, but there's a lot of women's fashion from the West, from when Japan opened up, and like France in particular, and Europe started getting flooded with Japanese themed or styled things. Like women's fashion, there's kimono style this and that still being made now.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean,
it happens a lot, and I think that this is probably one of those. Maybe a little blending with the concept of like Chinese silks and everything else.
Yeah, because the material is quite different. So I don't know, like we would need to have like a fashion person here to confirm.
Yeah.
First, but I would like to see how what Steve is wearing kind of descended from the kimono family tree.
Yeah. And there is a wide like variety of things for Japanese kimono, but yeah, you're right. Like it's not the typical or casual one. Like cotton all the way. Go for a yukata. Yeah.
Also, this fabric is not breathable. I'm sweating so much.
Which would not be good in Japan.
This is what I imagine you would be.
I'm wearing like cheap lingerie, but it looks great. But it's not. It doesn't. The skin feel isn't there.
Yeah, I think of that as like a lingerie reveal jacket, basically. Like that's what I think of it.
A reveal jacket.
Yes. It's like I put this on just so I could take it off.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
And the last thing I'll say about this is that there's been a lot over the last 2 or 3 years about people appropriating cultural signifiers, especially with fashion. So we've seen people wear white people wearing dresses and whatnot that are very traditional, and how there's almost like a split community on that of people who like, we love when Westerners take parts of our culture and like wear them and like tout them and like really bring them into the light. We like the representation. But you can also have, and this is my opinion, you can also have people who simultaneously are like, that's cool and all, and I respect your opinion. But as someone who lives in the West, in North America, or wherever, this is super harmful because it comes as just another barb of ways that what little culture we are able to have, the diaspora that we feel, how it's kind of like shone back in our face and thrown back in our face to be like, no. The things that, you're trying to reconnect with, they're costumes. You can just like take it on and take it off, and it doesn't really matter. And
it's fashion.
It's because it's fashion. and it sucks. It can be both a very positive thing for some people, be like, I love seeing this. It can also be very harmful to other people, and those can happen simultaneously.
And in general, it's just tiring because ultimately we're the ones who are going to think about it the most.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll sit there and analyze the hell out of it and won't come up with any conclusions. And I think I've said this before, but it's just, I always wonder how much thought other people have put into it. And that's the thing that always makes me uncomfortable, where it's perfectly fine sometimes, other times it's not. But in general, have you thought about it?
Yeah.
That said,
Yeah.
I'm totally cool kind of like plowing forward here because we got more text, y'all. We have more text to go through.
Yeah.
So why don't we take a look at what Bushido means to the Scorpion clan? So we're in the red area here.
Well, when I was gone, did we talk about this whole thing about loyalty to them and loyalty
No,
and
but we
honor?
absolutely can.
Well, I mean, it's gonna
yet.
be mentioned here as what does Bushido mean to your clan? So, Steve, it's red. So why don't you read it? I know that we're stuttering, and I honestly don't know why.
Probably Twitch, maybe Twitch being weird.
It's probably Twitch. My instinct is to like end stream and restart it, but if the audio is coming through is like totally fine, we might as well just keep powering through. On YouTube, the video will be clear.
Exactly, on YouTube it'll be clear. Anyways, let's talk about Bushido. I've turned on mood lighting.
Excellent.
Duty and loyalty is the core tenet of the Scorpion clan. They must be prepared to do and sacrifice anything and everything in the service of the Empire. Honor and righteousness fall by the wayside for most Scorpion. While they are not wholly unimportant, obsessing over such matters would make many vital tasks impossible. See another page for how honor and glory can affect your character. So Daniel, I feel like you had things to say about how loyalty and honor.
That's the thing. They're just like, oh, they have no honor, but they're super loyal, and they make this like this hard dichotomy between honor, righteousness, and like loyalty. Like, what is that?
I'm gonna double
supposed
down
to mean?
on that. I'm gonna double down on that. I think the clan is just built in to have all these contradictions, which maybe is why it's appealing to someone like me. Be like, oh, those contradictions are really interesting. Talk about like why they're there. And if when we go to the blue text over here, you'll see even more contradictions. It's just a clan that's full of contradictions. It doesn't really. It's highly tense.
Well, it's like they had all these themes. We want to have ninjas. We want to have treachery. We want to have, intrigue. We want seduction, insidious scheming. And they're like, well, why don't we just put them all into one? Because scorpions.
Basically, and I'm not kidding on this one, every single negative Asian stereotype that people could come up with was basically crammed into the Scorpion clan when the Scorpion clan was initially, I guess, conceptualized back in early AEG days. Because remember, Scorpion clan was not part of the original 6 clans of the card game. Scorpion was an add-on, was a 7th clan that they added on to the card game.
Because no one was like clearly evil enough.
Yeah.
Or I guess evil's not the right word, but like they're the
they-
villains.
We need to have good and bad in this world.
Yeah. There was no clan that was morally ambiguous. No clan was playing the anti-hero enough. And remember,
I love the
mid-90s
solution. It's just
the
to have someone walk
mid-90s
in and say, we're the villains.
Pretty much, the mid-90s was everyone was trying to, you had the Punisher. This was the age of the Punisher, age of Spawn. So all those anti-heroes were like really big, and L5R just had to jump in on that bandwagon.
Let's not compare L5R to Spawn. Let's not compare L5R to Spawn.
I mean, I'm totally cool with like an RPG having something in it from like a 90s Image comic. Like I can get behind that if it's done well, but I feel like this has not really been done that well because once again, there's discrepancies. Like they're loyal, but they have no honor. Like they do this, but they don't do that. Like it's very much like a case of the game really wanting to have characters that are like, I did what needed to be done. I did what was necessary. I did it from the shadows. Like that sort of thing.
But not a gravelly voice.
But yeah.
Tittering behind
Sorry.
Tittering behind the fan.
But here's the thing, like you can go that route, but if you say that an entire population is like that, then you have problems, right? You could say like, oh yeah, there's this small clan of people. There's like 50 of them, and they're all about these things. And I mean, the things that they're all about are still going to be problematic. But from like a world building perspective, if you say that like a population of like say 800,000 people are all treacherous by nature, like
And the emperor's just like, yeah, whatever, it's cool.
That's
They're
stupid.
loyal to me.
Yeah. So does the treachery actually include the peasants? Like, do
Yeah.
GMs have the peasants be like this? There's this evil
Oh,
village.
Are you even sure that those peasants aren't actually peasants and not spies that
everyone,
are sent out
every
to...
single person is a spy.
You don't
Some guy
That's
peeks
the
up
thing.
from
No,
over his
but here-
fence and
but-
is
but
like, "I'll
here's-
be your villain." Okay.
But I'm not kidding. That's the Scorpion. You don't know what's a spy. You don't know who's a spy.
I think
That
we need some
literally
like,
is the Scorpion.
yeah.
Now, does this get applied to the peasants of the other clans? Like, are lion peasants like incredibly courageous or anything? Or is it only just the Scorpion?
Do you think the lion would say if you were courageous, you would join the ranks of the lion samurai? What do the lion think of the non-samurai?
Lion Ashigaru, lion peasants are actually better trained than most of the other clans, because when lion peasants get pressed into service, they need to know how to fight as well as lion bushis does. So in a way, yes, and in a way, no.
Okay.
Scorpion is unique in that those peasants, most of them are probably peasants. You're right, but one of those peasants could be an informer.
And then, but then
peasant,
that leads into the whole thing of like you can't trust anybody. You're a
You really
scorpion
can't,
farmer,
because-
but you might be a spy.
yeah,
Hey kid,
because
get out of here. You might be a spy.
Hey, there's a reason why there's a card called Meek Informer.
Here's an idea for a micro RPG: L5R Peasant Wars. Just not even samurai, just peasants who identify with the various clans, just throwing produce at each other.
Wait, the
and
funny
going on
thing,
these, like,
I think the
low-level attacks against.
But what if
each
the
other.
funny thing was like it's like all peasants and they're all the peasants of these clans, but they don't have the characteristics of these clans because they're peasants? It's like, oh
There
yes,
is-
who are you from? Yeah, I'm a farmer for the Crab Clan. Oh yeah, you ever hear of Taint? What's Taint? Right, because I'm a farmer. We're like, oh,
points
Scorpion.
down to like the squash that he's trying to grow, and it's
Right
all
there.
rotted. That is taint.
That's Taint. Right?
I just linked you an image of a Scorpion Clan Informer.
Oh no.
Why?
Also, it's rude to point to your taint.
I think I might have one other source of weird internet problems. I'm going to try to fix that. Carry on without
Oh,
me.
okay.
So let's
Ooh,
save that art
that's
for a little bit, and let's continue on with the text then, as Daniel kind of does some text stuff. Thanks to producer Daniel. Let's take a look at the. Oh, I guess he already has the image up, so I guess we have to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. That is a kid.
Yeah.
That is not an adult.
So
And he's an operative. He is an informant for the Scorpion Clan. He's an operative.
okay. So what they're trying to do here is they're trying to show that the Scorpion are morally bankrupt, right? Like, oh, they really have no ethics as we understand them. They have their other like weird, convoluted and contradictory ethics and whatnot. Let's double this down and let's put children in harm's way, which 100%. Based on your game, this absolutely could be one of those lines that someone's crossing, and someone might just be like, I don't feel safe at this table because, I don't want to play in a game where kids are used like this, right? And now it's just kind of codified within the text, within the art, within the overall IP. So, I mean, I talked about this before where sometimes I read the text and I'm like, that could be kind of cool. Let's take a look at it. And then I feel like the game kind of like gets me. It's like, gotcha. And this is one of those gotcha moments where it's like, oh, you weren't expecting it, but here you go. Child like labor. Great. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I'm not that crazy with the idea of a game heavily based on Asian cultures incorporating like kids to do this sort of labor for various reasons. I mean, I know L5R is mostly Japan, but like I see something like this and I think of a lot of like the child poverty and like the child beggars that are in places, Southeast Asian countries like Cambodia and stuff like that. And that's kind of a stretch. I agree. That's sort of a stretch. That's just what's going on in my own mind. But I think it's because, you know, the game mishmashes a lot of Asian settings together. And I kind of unavoidably always think of that when you know, we see like a kid being put in harm's way to benefit the aims of a bunch of adults.
I honestly don't think it's a stretch. I think it's a super valid thing to bring up because, I mean, we all come into this as like people who play games. We have our own context and whatnot. And I'm sure for when you say that statement, there's like 100, maybe 1,000 other Jeremys out there who see these connections and would also have that. And I would say most of them would probably look at that and maybe just walk away from the game at that point in time, and we would never hear their stories.
Yeah, I mean that's one of my lines. I don't like violence against children in my RPGs, and this sort of thing. And I'm just kind of walking into this because I left. It's just something I'm like, oh no, I'm not. That's not for me.
I think there's some people in the chat talking about the trope of like the Victorian street urchin, but I feel like this is a little different because the Scorpion Clan is set up to be this kind of nefarious group, this like assassination group, this ninja group, and so I think it's a little different from like, you know, the Baker Street Boys and stuff like that. Like the connotations are just different.
Is the idea that they're informing on each other? Like, are they spying? Are Scorpions spying on other Scorpion? Basically, they're like
they will spy on each other, and they will spy on other clans as well. There could, like, peasants could be. There's in the storyline right now, Shoshiro Miyako is spying on a bunch of dragon peasants, and she's most definitely a Scorpion. And she's spying on dragons peasants because. The thing is, they don't know where the next threat is going to come from. And there has been threats that has arisen from inside the Empire as well as outside the Empire. So the Scorpion's always just keeping an eye out on everything, trying to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, but I get trying to keep everyone safe. But when you have an entire clan that's just spying on everybody else in their clan and beyond, you're painting this picture that you have an inherently untrustworthy group of people.
It really does.
The Scorpion Clan is like asshole Batman who like spies on all the members of the Justice League and like has all of their weaknesses on file. It's that's basically what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm thinking it's like communist China.
Well, I didn't get that, but I mean,
maybe.
Maybe.
You know, it's kind of like how they have like the social ranking in China and how you have like a score and how they like shame you for jaywalking because, you know, those new panels with the screens and they take a picture of you if you jaywalk and then tell everybody that you're a jaywalker. Or like what we were talking about earlier with was that school in Colorado where they're shaming their students for like looking away. Like, we know that you had another screen open. We know that you weren't just looking at this. And it's like, next time there will be consequences. That's the Scorpion Clan.
By the way, I'm going to say something. I have a freaking PhD. 2 years of that PhD was done distance, and I never had to turn my webcam on for any exam during that coursework. Just saying.
Yeah. It's also like, in a comedic sense, I feel like the Scorpion Clan is very much like that episode of The Office where they play that sort of like LARP. And then like Michael's a double agent, Dwight's a double agent, Andy is also a double agent, and they're all just holding guns on each other. And like it doesn't have any internal consistency, the Scorpion Clan. At least to me, I don't understand it.
Here's the other thing that I have a big problem with the Scorpion Clan about, and we'll actually see it when we talk about their families next. Whereas all the other clans, I can see, like, you know, there's this there's layers to the other clans. Even with the Lion, parts of them are historians, parts of them are warriors, parts of them speak with the ancestors. The other parts of them are really good storytellers. Okay, that's the Lion Clan. Every single thing about the Scorpion Clan always be scheming. Everything about the Scorpion Clan seems to be information gathering. It always feels to me the Scorpion Clan feels very one note.
Yeah. They do one thing, and it's a stereotype.
Mm-hmm. So I almost want to drive us to keep reading more, knowing that we're gonna see more and more of this stuff.
Have we even tackled the red text on the side yet?
we
We
did red
covered what
text.
does Bushido
Red
mean
text,
because
okay.
we know the
But,
what does your
yeah.
character know? We already know what that is because it.
So
okay.
maybe let's read some culture here.
Oh boy.
So Scorpion Clan culture. I'm happy to read it.
This first
Oh,
sentence.
wow.
Oh my god.
Okay, go for it, Steve.
It's been a while since I've read this.
Jesus.
The Scorpion Clan is a group united by grave purposes to preserve life by killing it, and to let others live out the ideals of honor by staining themselves via dishonorable acts. Most scorpions stake their humanity on one ideal of honor they can uphold or a personal bond that keeps them from slipping, while others vanish completely into their masks, truly becoming the villains others believe them to be.
Again, this is so dumb because you're talking about a population of several 100,000 people, and they're all like, "Yup, we gotta kill in order to save. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one."
You want to know what that text reminds me of? Vampire the Masquerade. That is, it's like that whole thing about keeping one personal ideal of honor or bond that keeps them slipping. That's a touchstone from Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I just
When did the first edition of L5R come out? Was World of Darkness already established? Or it's early 90s, right?
L5R was first published in 95. I can't remember when the RPG was first published.
I mean, maybe they wanted to channel some of that, Vampire the Masquerade flavor with the Scorpion Clan, especially if they were not originally a core clan in the book. Seems like it.
Let me just see when Vampire was first published.
while you do that, there's a line here, and they say most scorpions stake their humanity on one ideal of honor they can uphold, or a personal bond that keeps them from slipping. And it's just like, it's painting this picture that all Scorpion Clan members, from like the children to the farmers to the samurai, are all just like edgelords. And but then they also say that like honor and righteousness fall by the wayside for most Scorpion. It's confusing. And
Yo, are the Scorpions Red Hood? Like, is that what they are?
oh my god.
Kind of.
Oh my god, Red Hood is my favorite cosplays.
I know, but
now I know why I'm so drawn to Scorpion.
But if you think
Are
about
they
it, like,
they're
is
like
that
Red
kind
Hood
of,
and like Damian Wayne.
I guess, but Damian changed. Like Red Hood is
Yeah,
still
early
kinda killing
Damian
it.
Wayne when he was just like, I'm
Early
a killer
Damian.
ninja.
Huh.
But yeah, you got the Red Hood thing. Totally.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's, preserve life by killing, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of
Or season
it's Red
one,
Hood
season
with
one
more
Arrow.
cringe, yeah.
Season one Arrow.
season 1 Oliver Queen.
Yeah. Maybe we should move on.
Let's look at their armor.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to get a little exhausted with this. That's okay. Let's keep moving on, and like more data will only help us.
Will
I
it?
guess.
Well, it's when the individual families start clearing things up a little. Like these broad overviews are always so broad that they're confusing. Because I don't see how all of these things work together. How are they both super loyal to Scorpion, but also super loyal to the Emperor, but also no one's ever figured out that they're self-sacrificing in this way, but also being devious? Like everyone's just like, Scorpion's gonna scorp, but like
Here's the thing. You got to remember that everything on that the courts of Rokugan will only see things at surface value.
which
They
seems
will only
highly
see-
That's
unlikely.
really unlikely, yeah.
We all think that, but they see the surface value of the action. They see what you did, what was the outcome. Don't matter what anyone else thought about your actions. It's just compare this to what would we have done? Would I have done the same thing if I was in your shoe? That's kind of like the big baton to the knee in Rokugan society. It's like I only see that action. That's what I can verify with my own eyes. I have to believe what I just saw. I don't believe everything else you tell me about the circumstance or the situation. There basically is, in Rokugani society and Rokugani court, there is no wiggle room for nuance.
I don't know,
Okay,
especially when you have a whole
well-
clan and they're all like intellectuals.
Maybe let's move on here to the Scorpion clan.
Yeah,
families.
I'll read this. I'll read this, Steve. You did some
Thank
reading.
you.
I'll take over. I don't have. I'm wearing red though. Also 8 koku. That's a lot of money, right?
What do we think of the armor first?
Oh, okay. We're gonna get
Oh yeah,
What do we think of the armor?
not very scorpion-y.
not. It's not really. I mean, aside from the little chest piece, it's not really that.
You might want to scroll up
scorpy.
so the stream can. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. They should.
Also,
They should be
is
able
it
to see that.
damaged? It's like missing part of
Oh yeah,
that
it looks damaged.
one.
You're right.
Yeah.
Those plates.
It's so treacherous.
I was expecting a plate mail bikini, so I'm surprised.
There was a mask.
Really one-
But sarcasm aside, I just find it kind of boring.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
there's
if you could-
nothing scorpion about it, really.
Cool if they had like a tail, like the Spider-Man villain Scorpion, like an actual Scorpion
Right.
tail coming out.
Yeah. Or like a lot of them had like an animal on the helmet, like
Yeah.
something.
Oh yeah.
So when we look at the art, you'll see the art is a lot more evocative of like scorpion.
okay. So there
themes.
is one
So, like-
thing that is. I feel like I'm reading too much into that. I'm giving them too much credit. So you have the ridge on the helmet with all the dots.
Yep.
So there are certain species of scorpions. Science fact from Daniel. There are certain species of scorpion. They're all arachnids, right? But they have like they have multiple eyes. Some of them have like 2 eyes very prominently, and then they have a whole bunch of eyes along their mouths.
Mhm.
So that kind
That's
of reminds me
cool.
of that. But
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
I'm giving them way too much credit.
I think
agree.
so too, but it's
Yeah.
a fun fact. Thank you for that. They really want to see what they're eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. So the Bayushi family then?
Yeah, I got it. So eight
Alright.
koku that's a lot, right? 'Cause
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
think we've seen
Yeah.
one with that many before.
It's usually 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think the Yasuki maybe, but let me just go and read out.
Okay, cool. The motto of the Scorpion clan's primary lineage, I can swim, comes from a cautionary tale about their treacherous nature. Charming, ruthless, deceitful, and vicious, the Bayushi appear as the villains they claim to be. They are the sinister side of power, using the arts of blackmail, poison, and seduction to control the enemies of the Empire, all while dancing a fine line to avoid falling to true villainy themselves. For the Bayushi, the means are justified by the ends, a stable and prosperous empire. That's a lot.
Gross.
That's real bad.
It's like these villains, they are the villains. But
They-
are they?
Alright.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Just linked you.
Sar has now shared.
This
something.
is
Can't wait
Prepare
to
your
see this.
eyeballs.
actual
boy.
art
Oh,
from
oh.
the card
Oh,
in print right now.
oh,
I like the mask.
Yeah. At least she's not gonna rip off all of her eyebrows.
It's a good mask. It's a good
Uh,
mask.
See, this is my thing with Scorpion Clan. Like okay, we're dealing with some concepts here that could potentially, maybe if they were worded slightly better, be interesting. But 9 out of 10 times, I've often seen like Scorpion Clan basically be boiled down to this like sex pot sort of stereotype, where it's like a hot Asian girl wearing a Steve kimono with a mask about to do like femme fatale stuff by secretly stabbing a guy in the neck after seducing him for the good of the empire. And that is basically just the femme fatale trope. That is,
Well,
you know,
it's the dragon lady.
hypersexualization of Asian women. It's dragon lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen much beyond that in my experiences playing with Scorpion characters and Scorpion NPCs in games. I could be wrong, but that is definitely something embedded into this clan that is hyper problematic.
But if you were like a Scorpion spy, or like oh, I will, tempt this person into giving me information, why would you decorate yourselves with the symbols of your clan? I don't know.
It's her signature.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that. This is like, this is one of those iconic L5R characters.
Yeah, she is. That's Bayushi Kachiko.
I mean, there's that one thing that we talked about in Oriental Adventures is that like the fetishization of Asian women, and that's Bayushi right there.
Here's the Okay, so there is a story about Bayushi Kachiko right now. She was technically still is the imperial advisor. She's basically talks to the emperor and advises him on what to do. She actually holds some power in court. Her husband is the clan champion of the Scorpion, Bayushi Shoju. She's also having an affair with the Crane Clan champion right now, Doji Hotaru. And
Right.
it's not and this is one thing that everybody needs to understand. If you are a fan of the CCG, you probably understood that the Hotori Kachiko relationship was one of they hate each other, but they still hook up. In this version, I have to say that the story has been done a lot better. They are no longer hate screwing each other, but it's an actual, loving relationship. They actually care about each other. That's the only good thing I can say about this character right now.
That's cool, but like, is that in this book?
Actually, yes.
Oh wait,
it is.
You know what? There's
it
that
is.
beginning.
It is.
in the beginning. There is that
Yeah.
text at the beginning. You're right. It's like, there it is. There they are. I take that back.
Yeah.
Then. L5R, you've
So
proven
yes,
me wrong.
it's actually in this book. On this one, yes. In this book, yes, Bayushi Kachiko is actually a decent character. However, most of the time she's portrayed as sneaky, conniving, backstabbing, and will just seduce you to get information. In FFG's portrayal of her, she's actually using her brain. That she's an actual complex character. Her actions is not just what's going to get me the most power, but what's best for my clan. And what's best for the emperor. In my opinion, what is best for the empire?
So then,
I mean, it's
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, it's an improvement, but I mean, like, you see this happen a lot, like when the character should not have been this one note kind of dragon lady in the first place. Like Paizo did a similar thing in their lore with Nocticula, like the queen of the succubi in the abyss, and now in like the newest edition, she's basically like the redeemer queen, and she's become like a celestial, and she's basically wearing more clothes now, and like it's good, but really, like, I mean, the character should have been more to begin with. Like you're just patching old problematic stuff at this point.
Yeah, I want to show a more recent depiction of Ayushi Kachiko. This is from an upcoming pack. This is an upcoming expansion pack. I don't have a better picture of her. I'm sorry. This is the best image that I have, but this is another image of Ayushi Kachiko.
Okay.
The second link, not that link.
I put it up there. Atonement.
There you go. Atonement. It's different. It's a different image, I would have to say.
It's meant to show her grace and her beauty, and like clear that it's something that like the audience or her are supposed to like recognize as something that is of value here, and it's less titillating than the last one. The last one that we saw was clearly meant to give people boners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you like, it failing falls in the trap of, if your RPG can't make you horny, what's the point?
That's the Steve statement.
That's my statement. If the RPG can't make me horny, what's the point?
You're not wrong. I mean, with half the attitude.
But that's like what Jeremy said. Jeremy's like, you have all these little things that they're adding on. She has the more nuanced relationship. She's doing all of these great things, but it's on top of this, visual stereotype of like this, like,
I mean, yeah,
sexy Asian woman in a kimono who's also a spy, will stab you in the back.
You're kind of patching a stereotype, and like it's a good thing. Like I want to give them credit; it's a good thing, but there's still an underlying.
What's this
stereotype
new one?
That
okay, so
that's Bayushi Shoju. That is her husband, and there's a story behind that one too.
Oh yeah.
Is his mask like articulated?
It's articulated. It's half of it's the top, the other half is
Yeah.
for his jaw. He is supposed to be the ugliest man in Rokugan. Yeah.
So
I
it's
see
so
Steve's
so
face
so it's like
already.
Asian women are like super desirable, and then Asian men are just like, I'm so ugly, gotta wear a mask.
His mask also reminds me more of a Chinese opera mask than
Mhm.
It
than
does.
anything else. I mean, I actually think this picture's kind of cool. Like I do sort of, you know, like kind of the way he looks, but I think placed within the context of the Scorpion Clan as a whole. And
So
what we just saw, where like the woman has to be sexy, the man can be whatever. Like that's that's an ultra like stereotypical thing that we see in a lot of popular media in general. And here, I think we're seeing that as well. It's not great.
it gets better. As if you need it to get better. He's also known to. He's also. It's very well known that his right hand is disfigured since birth. So not only is he the ugliest man in Rokugan, he's also they code him disabled, but Kachiko is still quote unquote madly in love with him, even though she's cheating with him. She's cheating on him with the champion of the Crane Clan.
Are there any other characters generally who are with disabilities?
In L5R, in the main L5R canon, I have not seen. The only other ones that come to mind would be Miramoto Hitomi and Hida Yakamo, and only because they lost their arm to each other. They lost one of their arm to each other in a duel.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But that's the only one I can remember.
It's good context for me. I'm not going to touch on the ableism within L5R because that's not the point of this stream. But I was personally curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe let's continue.
Let's
here.
move on because that's just the Bayushi, and I think we already expected them to be bad, considering that there is a Bayushi deceiver in 3.5 D&D. Shosuro family. When the Shosuro family is known to outsiders, it is for their acting talent and theatrical skills. Little does the Empire realize how fully the Shosuro embraced their roles. Many of the finest Scorpion spies are Shosuro, living as other members among the clans. While they are master entertainers, they are often asked to turn their skills into acrobatics, acting, and other arts to darker and bloodier ends for their clan.
I think this sounds dope. I love it.
It's kind of like, oh yeah, you're all actors, but like we don't act only on stage. We act in the court.
They do.
It's better.
If the Scorpion Clan wants to impersonate somebody, they get a Shosuro to do it. Shosuro Bushi can impersonate people as high up as a general in another clan. That's how skilled of an actor they are.
I think that's kind of neat. I get the Mission Impossible vibe when they just they pull off the mask. I think that's cool.
Like the one that's the spy that's in Dragonland. It's a Shosuro Miyako. Let me pull up her picture. There's also a really interesting thing about the Shosuro and the Soshi family. They were founded by the same person. Yeah.
I think that's neat how they're artists, and while they also are just like entertainers, some of them are spies. I think that's cool.
Okay, so I'm just gonna show you the card image. This is Shosuro Miyako's card image, first card image, and this is Shosuro Miyako's second card image. Same character.
Storm Shadow, is that you?
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I like codifying this kind of many faces of the same character. I think that's very evocative of kind of what we're trying to show here. And it does it in a way that's it doesn't play on stereotypes. This is clearly a person who just has a wide skill set. And we've seen two aspects of it. I'm quite happy with it, to be honest.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I also love how the ninja is actually wearing white because it's snowy and they're not just wearing black. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Soshi family. The Soshi are often overlooked, and that is how they prefer things to be. They are most effective when unseen, offering up prayers in silence for the scorpion. The Soshi live for subtlety, a gentle nudge, a whispered word that sets everything into motion. Sometimes this comes at a price, however, for their preference for acting at the perfect moment often makes them exceedingly cautious and prone to excessive planning and information gathering.
So I mentioned earlier the Soshi and the Shishiro was basically founded by the same person. Back in the Day of Thunder, way back in when the Empire was first founded, Shishiro was a follower of the Kami Bayushi. She was sent to the Shadowlands to fight. She came back with all the Black Scrolls, but she was so weakened. She made a deal with something called the Nothing. The Nothing allowed her to live, but it took her identity. She came back and pledged fealty as a person named Soshi to Bayushi. Bayushi knew that this was actually Shishiro, but from then on, the family basically split into two. So again, we get this thing of two families occupying two sides of the same coin.
I don't hate the writing. I think the writing's fine. I struggle with like how I would play a character like this.
Well, that's why I think the writing isn't fine, because it doesn't tell you how you're going to play a Soshi family member.
It's fine in that I wasn't like, wow, that's fucking gross. That's my bar.
It's a really low bar.
Yeah, it is.
I was trying to think like Bene Gesserit, like from Dune, except they don't have special powers.
Yeah.
How you would play a Sochi is basically they use the disguise magic is basically what the best way I can describe it. That art, the art that we'll see later when we talk about the Sochi school, is basically how you play a Sochi family. You are an illusionist. You're a Shugenja that does illusion magic.
That sounds kind of cool.
I like the mask, in which it's not a mask; it's a veil.
It's not. Yeah.
It's a veil.
Is she like casting a spell?
Yeah, she's basically. So one thing about the Scorpion that it's an open secret, I guess, is that of all the clans, they are the one that's probably the most that they're the one using shadow magic, and not much is known about shadow magic now, but it will become a very important plot point later down the line.
It's cool. Okay,
All right.
let's go to the next one. Let's go to the Yogo family.
Yes. Yeah, finish off.
The Yogo family is the most unfortunate family in the Empire. Each scion of their line is cursed to betray the one they love the most. Sorry.
Sorry, go on.
How are there any of them then?
Yeah, just
Oh,
okay. Let
Anyway.
me try to finish this. Oh god, that's dumb. They try to ignore the curse by burying themselves in their work and devotion to duty above all. Isn't that honor? Isn't that what they're talking about here with honor? To try to lift this curse, they have relentlessly studied prayers of protection and especially wards, through which they have mastered many techniques to identify and fight evil magic. The Yogo are the most diligent and unappreciated servants of the Scorpion.
So history of the Yogo, they were the first Yogo was the wife of the first Asako.
Oh, okay.
So Yogo was a phoenix. He did so well against the war against Fu Lang that Fu Lang cursed him and said, "You will betray the one you love the most." He was about to kill himself. Then Bayushi came to him and said, "Why don't you work for me? Because you don't love me. You'll never betray me." So there you go.
Yeah.
So for a clan that is going to be a lot about working with emotions and being very emotional and having sexuality as part of like their identity, the fact that there's a clan who is codified to betray their lovers. It's trying to tell a story here, and I don't particularly like that story.
But it's also trying to
It's
tell a
not so much-
story. But it's trying to tell a story, and this is again a problem of scaling. It's trying to tell a story for a massive group of people, right? So, like, not everybody is cursed to betray the one they love the most. Only, I guess, a select few. I'm assuming so in the fiction, right? Unless they're just
there's when you're not betraying your lovers, because that's not, because the Scorpion in
no, it's the
Rokugan,
one you
could
love
have
the most. It's the one you love the
the
most.
one you love the most. It can be your husband, it can be your child, it could be your brother, it could be your parent, it could be your daimyo, it could be the emperor.
I don't like that. I don't know, and it's just like, go ahead.
I just said I see this as playing into like kind of like the often tragic, hyper dramatic plots of like various Asian dramas where it's like so and so is destined to, I don't know, or fated to fall in love with this person or hurt this person or blah blah blah. Like I feel like this is their way of trying to generate story by forcing it into the lore of the family. And I don't know,
it's like the fantasy salary.
I'm not crazy for it.
It's the fantasy salary, man. You're just like devoted to your work, and that's all you do, and you're really good at that thing. But everything else falls by the wayside. It's that like
add a little bit of like, if you tried anything else, then that could lead to this prophecy of betraying someone.
Exactly. So you have to stay and continue working, put your nose down, work hard, and good things will happen to you. Oh, what's that? That's the mono-minority myth.
Yeah, basically. And I'm definitely going to say this. If you read any of these short description, I'm just going to say it, is by far miles and miles and miles better than anything I ever saw before this edition.
The bar must be so low for you.
Oh, the bar. Oh, basically everything else was a dumpster fire. At least this is just a garbage fire.
It's a little pile of trash on fire.
It's not a dumpster. It's not a dumpster. It's a standard trash can.
It's
a single tire. Yeah.
Let's not talk about fires right now. Actually.
Oh yeah, that's
sorry.
right. Sorry. Sorry. No, you're right.
So to bring some positivity into this, like out of all of these, I do kind of like the Shosuro family after hearing your guys' take on it. Like I didn't get that immediately when I read it, but I'm imagining like a campaign where like it's some sort of like acting troupe or something like that, and like all the members are members of the Shosuro family, and they do these like covert missions like without anybody knowing, and that could be fun. The others, I don't really particularly I'm not particularly interested in the others.
Now I want you to remember that statement, and I don't know if you were with us when we read the minor clan, specifically the cat clan.
Oh, that was at the very beginning. That was before.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I'm gonna go up to that one.
Basically, while the family appears to be playful association of acrobats, actors, and noted playwrights, in truth, they are a successful clan of mercenary shinobi, selling their skills as spies and assassins to the other clans.
It's on.
What does that sound like to you?
Wait, so then what's the difference really between the
Maybe
Shosuro clan and
the cat clan is secretly Scorpion?
Here's the thing. The cat clan is what the Scorpion clan should have been the entire time.
I think you've said it before, yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've said it before.
I feel like that really slanders
Because
cats.
like if the Shosuro is the most interesting from all four of these and the least yikesy, and there's already a like clan that encapsulates that, then like why didn't we do that? And like that's probably why this family's the only one that's likable, is because they have something else going on and just happen to be spies and something else sometimes when needed.
Exactly. That's the thing. The Cat Clan was created by Katrina Ostrander, the head writer of for Fantasy Flight Games, and she was the head writer of L5R when that came around. Another thing that she's been very aware of is with the with Steve's the character that Steve's playing right now, Yoko Hiraway. she saw the trope of all the Scorpion women being all these femme fatales and all the Scorpion men being basically trolls, and she actively created a character, Yogo Hiroi, to flip that trope on its head, basically creating a man fatale.
Man,
Should we then maybe like scroll to the first school, because we will see Yugo Hiroi's like art, and we
Should
can
we
just like
read-
dive into.
We want to
Yeah.
read Shinobi.
Yeah, we should
On
read
the
the blue
side.
text.
Let's do
Shinobi
that,
are
yeah.
covert agents and infiltrators who hide from sight and strike with surprise and without honor, but with loyalty, one would assume. The Shinobi are a weapon of war, but they are often used in times of peace to hide the origin of an attack and deflect blame for drastic but precise violence. The use of such tactics and the Shinobi themselves are officially banned by imperial edict, but somehow rumors of their use remain.
Does L5R define what the difference between like ninja and shinobi? Like I know I was reading some of the lore. Like, is there like a major discrepancy here,
No,
or are they just
Shinobi-
copying like Japanese culture?
They're copying Japanese culture.
Okay.
Essentially, is what it is.
Okay, let's keep scrolling. We are scrolling. Nope. We already did that one. Did
It's
that one.
page
78.
Yep, here we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, 70.
The
Bayushi-
Bayushi
I'll be right back.
Manipulator
There we go.
School.
It's just Steve.
It's Steve.
It's Steve.
So this is the art that I actually used to like build up the cosplay and whatnot. The mask is incredibly complex in this art. I have no idea how you would physically go about doing that. I think it's like it looks like leather with metal set into it, and then it would be so heavy and like But I got the hair. I got the hair at least. So
You got the hair.
I think
Yeah,
you look
there.
better, Steve.
You actually look
thank
pretty
you.
good. I mean, you could easily pass off as Yogo Hiroi.
but why don't we go ahead and read about Yugo's
What-
school here?
What page are we on? My
Si-
PDF just crashed.
78.
78.
It's 79 of the PDF, but it's 78 of the book.
My PDF just told me it was out of memory and wouldn't show me anymore.
You've been infiltrated by the Scorpion clan.
Can't do it.
Oh God,
Um,
that's how they get
Anyways.
you. They make your PDF run out of memory.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Bayushi Manipulator School, courtiers. Through the adept use of deception, temptation, and espionage, Bayushi trained courtiers are the masters of finding and exploiting the weaknesses of others. No method is too dishonorable as long as it is effective and untraceable. The Bayushi Manipulators are the shadow to the Doji diplomat's light, and they are justly feared by all. Yet, no court is complete without its scorpion scoundrel. The Bayushi Manipulators accept their roles as villains in the play that is Rokugan, and in doing so, they help ensure that no true villains rise to threaten the Emperor.
Wait, what?
I don't understand. I also don't understand. I just don't understand.
What
So
are
they
the-
accept their role as villains so that no villains.
Yeah. They're like, we'll be the villains, therefore,
Yeah.
even
Also
though we're
scoundrel.
no, we'll be the villains because we're still loyal to the Emperor. Because a truest villain would not be loyal to the Emperor, I think is what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like life would be hard to be a Bayushi.
There's just so many mental acrobatics that needs to happen with
And that
your
would be-
Scorpion.
So
That'd be such a crappy school to go to.
yeah, so the school is bad. This is like super bad. I hate this. But this art and like what I think they're trying to go for is what I wanted to play. I wanted a school where it was like, hey, sometimes you can't just like pick up heavy swords and kill people to get your way. Sometimes you need to like honey your words and like get people to be convinced. You need to convince people to like join you and like join your cause and like you. Sometimes it's really important for people just to like you in court. And I feel like that's what this was.
We have the best post on our chat. Marco C said they have a monopoly on villainy. That's it.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, that's what they're saying. Like, only we could be the villains because we're the best kind of bad guy.
And all these schools remind me of like Sasuke's brother in Naruto, who's like had this
Yeah.
super elaborate plot that I don't even remember right now. I
It's
couldn't
just
explain it
angst.
if you asked me to. It's just angst
Yeah.
and like a plot, but he's actually like sort of good in the
So
end. I don't know.
are you saying
Here-
that they're all just Sasuke's brother?
I think this is a clan of Sasuke's and Sasuke's brothers.
Ugh,
Okay,
that makes them
now-
so
now-
bad.
Now here's the absolute crazy and asinine thing that is in L5R lore. Period. Most named characters, most Rokugani characters that are quote unquote truly evil or bad, when you think about it, none of them came from the Scorpion clan except one, and that's Yogo Junzo, and he literally raised an army of the undead.
Go big or
So-
go home.
Yeah, really, right? But no, I cannot remember I cannot remember. Maybe there may be only one other, Bayushi Paneki, but that's that he's like, there was like circumstances for him why he became a villain. But I don't remember any real named villain. I could name several Okotos. I could name, Miyamoto Hitomi was a big villain. But I cannot remember a Bayushi, Shoshuro, or Soshi villain in L5R.
Did you
Is
read,
this
did you read the blue text? Because there's something to talk about there.
I think we should. Daniel, want to take us away?
The Scorpion are loyal and pragmatic above all, and so their schools teach absolute loyalty to the clan as much as they teach the means by which the clan achieves its ends. The differences between appearances and reality, lies and truth, suspicion and trust, are more important, and more importantly, how and when to use which, are all driven home in their students point by painful point.
Implying
Implying that it's
Corporal punishment.
it's corporal punishment in an Asian school.
yes.
Great. And so it's like now you have all of these, the graduates of the manipulator school who are all like just emotionally damaged, like scorpions who now think that they have to be treacherous. It's
I
icky.
mean, the whole clan is built around this idea of brainwashing people with this mindset of we must be the
This is-
villains.
Basically, this is a clan of gaslighters.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then they have their mastery ability as little truths, because we're going to run out of time. When you perform a check targeting another character to which one of your advantages or disadvantages applies, you may choose another advantage or disadvantage that shares a type with it. Unless they have clear evidence to the contrary, the target comes to believe that you have the advantage or disadvantage you chose instead of the one you actually have. If the target attempts to seize or exploit this false advantage or disadvantage, their check automatically counts as failing with a shortfall of 3. They suffer 3 strife and the disoriented condition. Okay.
It's cool. It's a cool ability, and
Yeah.
that being a liar and like manipulating someone's like, oh, my weakness is actually something else. Cool. That's, I think, very flavorful. Could be fun mechanically too. Also, surprised it's not called Little Deaths. That would be the joke. That'd be like, it's a good joke. It's a good joke.
Let's move on. Let's move on because we knew the Bayushi would be bad, and this is just. Oh, here we go. Shosuro Infiltrator School, Shinobi Courtier.
Actually, I'm gonna have one more thing to Bayushi
Oh, yeah.
School.
Go.
The art there, I do want to call out. Subverting tropes like that is very noble. I definitely like it is seen by someone like me, where I'm like, wow, you took the femme fatale and you made it a man, and now this man is also like able to do this. However, it's really tough to subvert tropes by just like flipping a gender, because what you're really kind of doing is lampshading it. You're like, oh, but there are still femme fatales, and that harm that trope causes will still happen. Like you're still gonna get that, but also now you can have like this weird kind of like offshoot of it to perpetuate the harm. It's a step in the right direction. It's done with good intentions, 100%. But I talked about how like the spore that's causing the harm runs very, very deep. And this kind of stuff doesn't actually address the spore of that. All this tries to do is try to patch or try to alleviate the harm that is being caused currently.
Yeah, I can't say much more than that.
Anyways, we can move on.
Let's go to Shosuro. The Shosuro infiltrators have perfected the art of deception. With their well-honed abilities as in acrobatics, disguise, and stealth, these Scorpion agents encounter very few places to which they cannot gain access. As agents of surprise and disruption, they do not stand and fight, but instead sow chaos and vanish, usually to disguise what their mission actually was. Many a Yojimbo has thwarted an apparent assassination attempt that was merely a distraction from the targets the Shosuro infiltrators truly sought. Such infiltrators can vanish into shadows or, with equal skill, mingle with peasants and become invisible to the eyes of samurai. So I have more of a game question. I thought all the characters are supposed to be samurai.
I mean, we often keep coming back to that, and I think the easiest way to answer that, Dan, is like, they're conveniently not samurai when they don't have to be. Like let's.
Well, here's the one thing about
it's inconsistent.
The one thing about Shinobi is every clan,
especially Shinobi,
no matter what clan you are, every clan uses Shinobi. It's not just a Scorpion.
Yeah, this doesn't seem unique to them, even though
specifically, Shinobis are not samurai in Rokugan.
So if
they are specifically not samurai, so they are not bound by Bushido.
So even if you play like a lion, can you be a Lion Clan Shinobi?
There is a Lion Clan Shinobi. Yes, there is a Lion Clan Shinobi school. Not in this book, but I believe in I think in Courts of Stone or Celestial Realms. No, Courts of Stone. I believe there is a Lion Clan.
See, a lot of people in the chat are saying the samurai is a caste. I know that. But the game book says that the players are samurai. So that's where my confusion comes from.
Everyone is technically a samurai, but for Shinobi specifically, even if you were born a samurai, you are no longer considered a samurai once you become a Shinobi.
When you choose this path,
the path is chosen for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how Itachi, like he got cast out of the village, Naruto's village, and then he became like a bad guy, and then he's not actually like a member of that village anymore. It's like that.
Oh God. So they have.
Okay. I just want to say something here. A lot of people are saying a samurai does not equal warrior, but when you have, actually have things like samurai as a unit in Civilization 6, and they're considered to be an elite unit. When you have samurai when you have a genre of movies literally called samurai movies, and they're guys wielding swords, the word samurai in English, into the English vernacular, equals warrior. I want to make that very clear to people right now.
Yeah.
To a lot of English speaking people, the word samurai equals warrior. It may not mean warrior in Japan, but a lot of English-speaking people, samurai is warrior, and that's what people have to understand.
I think L5R is very confused about what it wants the players to be, and I get that. Like, yes, samurai didn't just fight; they were artists and they were scholars and they were intellectuals. But this book. It struggles hard in that it provides you with an overwhelming amount of detail, but a lot of that detail just doesn't mesh together, or it doesn't make sense. Like how they talk about the Scorpion and honor, yet they care about loyalty. I don't know.
Because here's the thing that they can actually use instead of samurai. And if they are talking about the cast of samurai, the samurai cast, they could actually, if they are speaking in English, they could use the term nobles, because that's what the samurai class was. They were nobles. Why don't they use nobles? And they use bushi, shugenja, courtier, shinobi, all that other one, all those other words when they're specifically talking about the different classes.
Because the word samurai has a certain cachet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Did you see its mastery ability, the final silence? As an attack and movement action, you may make a target number 4 martial arts, unarmed, air, check, targeting any number of minion NPCs at range 0 to 4. If you succeed during a narrative scene, you silently kill all targets over the course of a few minutes. If you succeed during a conflict scene, at the end of each of your turns, you may silently kill one of these targets in range.
That sounds
great.
super powerful.
It's kind of badass.
It's badass.
It's super badass.
What I
It
think
really
is neat is that they've broken down the results into both narrative and conflict scenes, which we haven't seen yet, and I think that's neat.
I can imagine like a fun court scene where like you try to do this and you succeed and like people drop dead and you get to explain later like the super in-depth thing. Well, I poisoned that tea and that tea went over there and then I hit the fly with like other poison and that person ingested that fly.
It's a heist movie now.
Boom. Yeah.
Well, it should, because this ability should mix in with the fact that they're all of the actors and the infiltrators, right? Well, yeah, it's called the Infiltrator School, so I would want it to be complex.
I think that's really neat. Like Jeremy said, like I poison this, and then and the incense, that's not actually incense burning. It's like this flower that's poisoning all of you. But I've taken so much of it over the course of a year that I'm actually immune.
Yes, that could be quite fun.
I think it could be cool.
Good old iocane powder.
Exactly. I just really like how they said, if you succeed during a narrative scene, this happens. If you succeed during a conflict scene, this happens. I really like that.
Well, the game does kind of really, instead of there being like 3 pillars of gameplay, like exploration, combat, and like downtime, like in D&D or something like that, this game really divides them into 2, like narrative, like kind of social scenes, and conflict, like fighting scenes.
And that's where this does
actually,
a lot better
the
than
games
D&D.
I've played. Yeah, the games I've played have been actually like 80% narrative stuff usually.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I love that. And I like how it isn't emphasizing combat. You could certainly build a character and play an adventure or a long-term campaign that has combat. But I'd like how, like, everyone has narrative potential. And I think that's really interesting. Like, you don't really see that in, like, oh, yes, the D&D 5e barbarian. It's not as interesting.
This is maybe unrelated. I don't know. It's about Shosuro, but is there a lot of drag in L5R or with Shosuro?
There is not.
Because like, there could be.
There definitely could be. It's not completely out of realm of possibilities. However, the only one gender fluid character that we have is Doji Shizue. Oh, good God, not Doji Shizue. Doji, what's his face? I can't remember his name.
But yeah, it's just
Doji Shigeru. There we go. Doji Shigeru.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the only gender fluid character we have in L5R right now.
Mm. Let's move on.
So I do want to comment one thing on the art. I actually really like this art for the school.
Oh, I think it's cool. Yeah.
I like little horns. Dope. Little horns. You gotta have fun what you do. The only problem, first of all, the things I love, it's not like bulky armor and stuff like that. This is clearly a person who needs to be an acrobat. They're clearly like switching out a document for like another document. Dope. I think that's really cool. It doesn't jive well with the whole like assassination vibe, but that's okay. I think it's still cool art. My biggest problem is, for any artists out there, stop drawing things on biceps at the top of the bicep.
Yeah.
This is a rope, and the ropes don't flex. And also, if it's at the top of the bicep, whenever you move, it's either going to go this way up, or more likely, it's going to go down towards the elbow and just sit at the elbow. You want these things to be up here, like where like the bicep naturally like curves in, so it can sit in that little like valley.
It also looks like they have blue eyes. But that's like just a tiny little detail. I otherwise think it's pretty neat.
I made this mimic on topic, but I don't actually hate blue eyes and art that depicts Asians, even though I've never met an Asian with naturally blue eyes.
Yeah,
there are.
It just has never really bothered me.
Oh, it's just something that
it doesn't bother me either.
I don't think it bothers me. It's something that I thought I'd point out. Especially because
What's up?
mostly because I'm working currently on a project that I'm NDA'd for, and I was asked specifically about the art, and the characters that I wrote for it are Asian, and their complexions and the way their eyes looked weren't Asian looking. So that's why I bring this up. But luckily, the publisher I'm working with was like, hey, can you check this? Okay, we thought the same thing too. Let's talk to the artist. That's mostly
are there
why.
mixed people? Are there mixed people in this world that this NDA project comes from? Because that's my thing. Because
I think there certainly can be, without saying more. There certainly can be.
Okay.
There's I mean, there has to be. It's not an Asian world.
Because I mean, it's like I don't personally have a problem with like blue eyes or like crazy hair or whatever. Because I just see it. Most of the artists in this book are from
You
like
see it in
Southeast
anime
Asia,
too.
and I see it in anime and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also, like my girlfriend is mixed and she has green eyes, but she's part Chinese, and so like it can happen. But I think that's why I asked that question. Are there mixed people in this world? And are there mixed people in Rokugan? Like, I mean, I guess maybe we'll talk about that when we get to the unicorn.
From the text,
Technically, there's not supposed to be.
The text,
Technically, it's not supposed
no,
to
I
be.
don't think
I mean,
so.
from the text, the Unicorn Clan did leave and come back, and
Yeah.
I am as a GM willing to take that as yes, people can be mixed here, and there is like intermingling of like traits.
We can get into that next week.
I mean,
I probably have a lot.
honestly,
to say.
if you're
We
a
can
player
get into
and you're a GM and you want to have mixed people in your world, nobody's stopping you. And in fact, you should do that because it's your game and your story. I mean, that's how I feel about it.
Honestly, there is no reason why a member of the Unicorn Clan isn't mixed race. It's also very possible that members of the Crab Clan are mixed race, considering that just on the other side of the Shadowland is the Ivory Kingdoms,
That's cool.
and they're both fighting the same. They're both technically fighting the same enemy.
Mantis too, right? Because they're sailors and stuff.
Mantis as
That's
well.
cool.
So yeah,
The only one that you wouldn't really see that does just be solely so clannish would be like the Lion the Crane.
See, I don't know why I'm playing a Lion Clan character. I need to make like a unicorn or mantis next time.
then I withdraw what I said then, not knowing that from the lore.
So let's move on. We got two more.
Yeah.
two more schools.
So what do we think of the art? Let's just start because the art's at the top for the illusionist.
That is Soshi Aoi.
I like it a lot.
I think it's kind of neat. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna conjure up the face of somebody. That's really cool.
There is. Go and read this. I'll pull the art. And there's a really cool story about her.
The Soshi Illusionist School is the school of whispers and shadows. Subtlety is the illusionist's watchword as they go about their tasks. Even their religious rituals and duties tend to be understated, though they are less faithfully executed. When the Scorpion need spiritual aid in court, their subtle invocations and keen understanding of the kami allow them to work their prayers unseen and unheard. The Soshi Illusionists are among the most practical Shugenja in the Empire, preferring discriminating and effective use of invocations over pomp and ceremony. So you just shared that one?
Yep, that's the full art.
Oh, okay. It's got a background. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
I think the school description is very evocative. It makes me like curious. It makes me want to think like, oh, how could I play a character in this? And like I'm drawn in. It's dope.
Yeah, I've seen nothing wrong with that.
Soshi Aoi was a character in the Scorpion Clan novella. Basically, that mask that she's taking off is an old man. She was impersonating an old man, but she's new at this. And I love the way the story made it look like a more experienced Scorpion Clan person told her that, hey, this is you did this kind of wrong, and I kind of saw it, and that's what made me believe that you were not who this person who you said you were. It was kind of like a scene that like, oh, my disguise is supposed to like every single part of my body. It's not just the face. It's about the body, the arms, the actual movement. If any limp that he has any particular habits that he has. They have to embody the social illusionists have to embody all of that. And the fact that one person was able to discern just one small thing that she failed to do, and that's what gave her disguise away. I really like that detail.
I really like their mastery ability. It's cool.
Take us through it.
You may spend 1 void point to attempt to establish that something in the scene has been an illusion all along.
That's cool.
It's really cool. This could be an object, image of a person, or other illusory phenomenon you could summon with an invocation. You must make the check to summon this illusion using an invocation with adjustments to the target number for plausibility determined by the GM. If you succeed, you reveal that the thing you chose is in fact an illusion you wove and has been for at least a few moments. If you fail, your character clearly did not think to set up an illusion. The object is as it appears. As with all matters, the GM has final say over acceptable uses of this ability. I think that's really cool. I think it's really neat. Yeah. It's like, oh yes, you motion for somebody to bring in your target motions for somebody to bring in tea, and it's one of their trusted servants. But then it was an illusion the entire time. I think that's cool. I think it's really neat. Or like you're sitting at a table with somebody and you invited them in for this grand feast, and you're courting them and you're trying to show them a good time, and then all of a sudden the entire feast vanishes and they're in this just like dark windowless room, and it's just a whole bunch of shinobi all around them and you sitting at the head of the table.
The ultimate gaslighting, ultimate.
And that's what the Scorpion do. That's what they do. They trick you.
It really is.
I guess, right?
Yeah.
I think there's some cool like narrative things you can do with their ability. There's definitely a lot of room for harm here though as well, because you could use this to mess with another player, I would assume, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can, yeah.
And
Let's move on to the Yoga Ward Master with the time we have left. Shugenja School. Founded by Asako Yogo. When he joined the Scorpion Clan, the Yoga Ward Master Dojo is the Empire's foremost school of Gyosetsudo. That's a tough one for me. The art of supernatural warding through mystical calligraphy. Ooh. Entrusted with the protection of the 12 Black Scrolls, the Yogo developed their founder's technique to prevent the scrolls' detection by dark forces and contain their corrupting power. By inscribing sigils of power onto slips of paper imbued with their ki, masters of the school can erect invisible barriers, bind spirits, and foil incantations. For the Yogo, an ounce of preparation is more than enough.
Hey, Emma, is chi a big concept in Japan? I don't know this. This is because it's from Chinese traditional Chinese medicine.
I don't think so. I'm not an expert on any of that, but we say ki as in general essence, or I don't know, like spirit, how you're doing, all of that kind of stuff. And it's spelled with the same character, ki, so I feel like a lot of that was adopted over when Chinese medicine came to Japan.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't know. It's not something I've come across on a regular basis, reading, interacting with, or being in Japan. So
I feel like it's one of those things that Japan basically co-opted from China.
That was just a genuine question.
It got popular in like popular media, like martial arts media, especially in anime now, and a lot of games have taken ki instead of chi because maybe it's easier for people
to pronounce,
not familiar with Asian languages, to pronounce. And now we have like the live action Mulan movie, which is a really stupid take on chi that bowered me tremendously.
Your tweet on that was really good.
I won't get into that.
I've seen takes on that.
I won't get into that.
We should do an Asians watch of Mulan.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
Do you want to do that, Steve? We should do that.
No, I don't want to do that. Why would I want to put myself through that?
Hashtag content.
Would you do the Chinese version, the one that China
Chinese
made?
version, maybe? Yeah.
Got it on DVD downstairs.
I have not watched it yet, but I'm very excited for it. I hear it's very low budget compared to the Disney one, but I'm very excited to see the compare and contrast thing.
There's multiple Chinese Mulan movies that are live action. They're all like war movies.
Let's why don't we finish off Yogo here with the time we have left? So I'm gonna read the blue text here for Yogo invocations. So founded by Yogo, a Shugenja, formerly of the Phoenix clan, the Yogo Yord Master continued to use the elemental names for invocations. Which is like a very kind of like quick kind of, but I love that for world building. I love to see instances where like the clans are not islands. They actually connect. They influence each other. Give me more of that, please. Always.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the mastery ability, Bounded to Ink. Once per scene, when you are targeted by an invocation or Maho technique, you may resist with target number 4, composition check. If you succeed, you absorb the invocation or Maho, nullifying all of its effects and creating a ward containing it. It's pretty neat. What do we think of the art?
Oh, I linked the full art.
Oh,
in
okay,
chat.
awesome.
This art is dope as fuck. Holy shit, I love this art.
Oh wow,
We
okay,
call
that's big.
her. We nickname her Yogo Anime.
It's cool.
Yeah,
I
it's-
mean, she's
super
doing the
anime.
whole like ninjutsu, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at how the mask is actually fitted to her face. Because Steve's got me thinking about weight now on masks. I mean, like it's cool.
Well,
It's
the
dope.
only- It is. Here's my thing on Mask in Scorpion Clan. The way I always describe it in world building, it's magic. It's put on there with magic. Okay.
And I'm totally
You know
cool
what?
with that.
For this one,
Magical
it makes
masks.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Physically, if I were to make this, I would make it out of foam. Like the
would
mask part
imagine.
would be cloth. The metal parts would be foam painted to look like metal. That would be the easiest way of doing that. And then it would be adhered. It would tie in the back. I wouldn't glue that to my face because you
Yeah.
want it to look like cloth that moves up and down.
Yeah. Also, if you glued this to your face, moving your mouth and speaking might be a little weird, right?
Yeah, a tiny bit weird. Tiny
Yeah.
bit.
And then I think the details with the I'm assuming that this is writing on all the bands that are all around them.
It is. It's basically supposed to be like magical wards to protect her.
I think it's dope in the context of what we're looking at here.
Someone in the chat said Taki from Soul Calibur, and yeah,
You know
Oh, now
what?
you
It
can't
is.
unsee that.
Yeah, there you
Now you
go.
can't
See
unsee
it.
that.
without the skin tight outfit, yes, it's Taki. It's a good redesign of Taki from Soul Calibur.
Yeah. Yeah, can't unsee that. Dang. But that's the last one, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is
That's
the last one.
Now what do we do?
Well, no, that's not the last clan though, because we have the unicorn next.
We have the unicorn.
Can we do the mantis
Oh.
also? Unicorn and mantis?
Unicorn
I would
and
like-
mantis, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, unicorn.
Oh, I kind of scrolled ahead and I saw some art that I really like. I'm just gonna point it out on page 85, the Shinjo
Yeah.
Outrider. I really like that.
Oh, that's a character. His name is why can't I remember?
I really like that.
Wow.
We've been streaming for 2 hours. It's totally fine. I'm not gonna hold this
No, it
against
doesn't
you.
matter. It
The
doesn't
fact
matter.
that, yeah.
Shinjo Shono. There it is. Shinjo Shono.
Wow.
I mean, SAR pulls through.
Sorry,
The fact that you remember any of the stuff blows my mind.
I just want to say I like that piece of art. I know we're going to talk about it next week. Speaking of next week, I do have an announcement. And I was going to talk to you folks, but next week's stream, timing might be a little bit different. One of my good friends is getting married via Zoom.
Nice.
At 7 p.m. that day. He said 7 p.m. to 7:30, so I'm just going to wear my suit, and then we're just going to hop right into stream.
Awesome.
So stream's going to
Perfect.
start a little bit late. So just a heads up, everyone. That being said, we have everyone's socials down below. Anybody have any projects you want to share? Any announcements? Anything cool that's out in the world right now? If not, that's totally okay. Steve?
I do want to share what's coming up in a week and a half or so for D&D Celebration. Daniel, you tweeted about that one, I think, right?
I tweeted about that one, and yeah, I tweeted about that one. Do you want to talk about that?
I'll give my take on it, and then I'm happy to kind of like give the mic over to you because I'm sure you have tons of thoughts on it based on friggin' like 4,000 likes and a bunch of retweets and a bunch of replies, guys.
Yeah.
But on September the 20th.
Yeah.
Pull up my calendar here. I think September 20th. Yeah.
20th at 1 p.m. Pacific.
That's exactly it. So we're doing the D&D celebration stream. It is actually hosted by Wizards of the Coast. So we're actually going to be on the official D&D Twitch channel. And we're going to be talking about weaving Asian stories, kind of moving beyond Al-Qadim and Oriental adventures. So we'll be doing a lot more conversations about the broader picture of kind of the work that we do on these streams. We won't be talking necessarily about L5R. We're going to be focusing a little bit more on Oriental adventures and Al-Qadim. And we're going to be talking about how, you know, we live in a world where these existed. They were very popular. They currently make money. I don't know how much money, but they currently make money. And how do we move past that? What's the next step here? Especially if you value inclusion, diversity, and especially kind of making your content accessible to as wide an audience as you claim you want to do. So I think it's going to be a difficult but a very fruitful conversation. Daniel, can you remind me of the guest list here? Because I remember we have some superstars.
Oh, it's you, myself, Amar, Ahmed from our Critical Read Al-Qadim stream. So that's for our mods, Drew. If you use the command, I think it's AQ. I have to check our Nightbot. But yeah, we have Ahmed from our Critical Read Al-Qadim series. That's 20 Arabia RPG, who's literally translating D&D content and introducing it to his community, which is
nice.
Like amazing. There it is. Also, we have Pam, our Discord admin. Steve, you forgot. Yeah, but it's Pam. Pam also appeared on an episode of our Asians Read Oriental Adventures. So we got Pam, you, Amar, Ahmed, and myself. This has been in the works for a while. Really, like shortly after I called out Wizards about the Oriental Adventure stuff. They actually got in touch with me and were like, "Hey, we're doing this thing. Do you want to speak of this? Do you want to talk about Asian stuff?" They didn't say Oriental Adventures. They actually said, "Do you want to speak on a panel?" And you could choose the topic. And I said, "Here's my topic, and here's what we'll talk about." And we had some back and forth talks, and then they agreed, and they were like, "Yeah, totally. We want to acknowledge this. We want to give you our official platform, and we want to make sure you can do that." So it was pretty great. Yeah. So yeah, that's on the 20th at 1 p.m. Pacific. We're going to be talking about how to move past tropes, and it's going to be interesting. If you want to get a sense of what we might talk about, you can actually head to our YouTube channel or our podcast feed. Asians Read Traitor, episode 1. It's our new monthly series, is now out. It's got some incredible people. It's got Jackie, Death by Mage. It's got Michelle, Kiln Fiend Potter. It's got Mackenzie of Sina Una. It's got Emma, and then myself. So that's out in audio and video format. So I know that there are a lot of people who listen to the podcast and don't engage with us this way. So I wanted to make these lessons a lot more accessible. And oh boy, there is some stuff. I think we actually beat our record on Oriental Adventure, Steve, with Traitor. We got past a page.
I saw, and I was impressed.
I was trying to get us to go though, but there's a lot going on there. So yeah, on the 20th we've got that. Tomorrow we're actually going to be doing some Dungeons and Asians live on this channel. I want to sort out whether or not these internet issues are mine or Twitch's. If they are mine, then we might not be streaming. But if they are Twitch's, then we are totally going to be doing it at 2 p.m. tomorrow. That being said, folks, take care of yourselves. There was a lot going on with the Scorpion Clan. That being said, I think, Steve, did you want to talk about Discord stuff as well?
Yeah, so for all y'all who might not be aware, we actually just brought in 2 new additional moderators to our Asians Represent Discord. One of the reasons why we kind of closed invitations is because we felt that we weren't well equipped to moderate the conversations, because as you can tell from these streams, there's a lot of emotional labor that happens, and a lot of emotions are involved in these conversations, and we want to make sure that everyone feels safe and that their voice can be heard and respected. So we worked really, really hard. We have 2 new moderators. So Agatha, who's also one of the co-hosts of Asians Represent, and Rachel, who's also Potato Dialogues on Twitter. They've stepped up. They're going to help us a ton, I think, and I'm very excited to continue working with them. But we have opened up those Discord invites. It is a little bit limited because we want to make sure that we don't bring in too many people to overwhelm kind of our staff and whatnot. But after the stream, I'm going to go pee. Then I'm going to go and take off one of these layers. Then I may or may not take off this mask depending on how much it hurts.
So here's
And
the
the
deal.
eyebrows come off.
We'll say this. If you folks want to, and there's Rachel in the chat. Rachel, I think you're amazing.
Yes.
So here's what we'll do, because I also have the spoons, because I took the afternoon because I fucked up my back, so I took the afternoon to go seek medical help for my back. I have the spoons to hang out in the chat. Why don't we set a time, Steve? Now, there are going to be people on YouTube who are watching this and are going to be like, well, this doesn't relate to me. If you're interested in ever joining these conversations post-stream, you could send us a message. You can either send myself or the Asians Represent channel a message on Twitter. So my Twitter is at Daniel H. Kwan. And of course, Asians Represent is at AZNS Represent. Send us a message on Twitter, and I will send you an invite to our Discord. Right now, we are prioritizing Asian members because we want to make sure that, we are giving, members of our community a space to engage in these conversations. But if you would like to be a part of that and you're watching on YouTube, send me a message. Now, for those of you who are watching live, Steve, I'm proposing that we do this at 9:30. What do you think? Give you some time to take care of yourself.
We're on the same page. I was gonna fucking suggest that too.
Oh, Steve, it's like we're connected. But a Crab Clan member and a Scorpion Clan member, I don't know if this could ever happen. That being said,
I would like to see
go ahead.
some Valentine's cards along that line of "Will you be my villain?"
God.
Somebody in the chat, make that. Will you be my villain? Could that be a shirt? Will you be my villain? Could that be a shirt?
Will you be my villain, Dante?
Okay, I'm going to add that to our list of shirts to make. Will you be my villain?
Will you be my villain, Bayushi? That's the line.
But we could have
man.
a "Will you be my villain?" and it could be Steve in Scorpion garb and Daniel as a crab. And then if we could have all of us. Oh my God! What if we got a shirt and it was just all of us stylized in L5R? We pick your clan.
Gotta get that merch. I'd be down.
Yeah.
May or may not be talking
Anyways.
to somebody for merch. So we might have a limited run of shirts and prints coming out soon. It's gonna be pretty sweet. Will you be my villain? I think is just such a good idea. That being said, folks, take care of yourselves. If you're watching us live, we'll see you at 9:30. If not, send me or the Asians Represent Twitter a DM. So it's Daniel H. Kwan or AZNS Represent. And we'll get you into that Discord server. Everyone, please take care of yourselves. This was a heavy, I don't think any of us really, this was not as enjoyable as some of the other clans, I will say. But, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye, everyone.